everyone. Today I'm going to share about how to get comfortable with your seniors and your bosses. And I thought of this topic because I was just thinking about the first day I met my trainees, and they looked like they were so uncomfortable, so timid and so frightened. Their body language was conveying the message of fear and a lack of confidence, which I found quite understandable. But at the same time, I hope that future trainees, or that if you're a junior, you don't carry that kind of mindset or attitude as you work, because it's not nice to be uncomfortable, and if you're uncomfortable, you just generally cannot do work well. Being uncomfortable is just not conducive for your progress as a lawyer, and just personally, who likes to work alongside people that they're not comfortable with, right? So I just thought that I should share how I kind of got over this discomfort, and basically share some tips on how you can adjust your mindset so that you won't feel so awkward or so timid in front of your seniors, because I'm sure you do not behave like that, and your body language is not this way with your friends or with people around you generally. And there are certain things about the law firm or the people that cause you to be so uncomfortable. I think the first thing that you should question and ask yourself is, what is exactly causing you this discomfort? I feel that it could be multiple reasons. For me personally, in the past, I felt it was the fear of just not being able to please my boss, or like the fear of being a disappointment. So I was very afraid to make an error, do something wrong, say something out of line. I was super cautious about being myself, because knowing me and knowing myself, I am full of errors. So I was super cautious, and I was afraid to be myself. Okay, I won't say afraid to be myself, but more like I was trying hard to be a less open version of myself, and also to be a more reserved version of myself. It's not wrong to at the start be a bit reserved and slowly warm up to people, but I feel honestly there's a fine line between being reserved and being really timid of your seniors or of your bosses. My first tip is to not pursue affirmation and instead pursue excellence, because I feel that in the pursuit of affirmation, that's when all the fear comes in, right? Because the pursuit of affirmation essentially leads to the fear of judgment, because for someone to affirm you, they need to judge your work, and they need to judge you, for instance, as a person, before they decide, okay, I'm going to affirm that this person is good, this person is whatever. So I think that creates a lot of pressure on yourself if you're pursuing affirmation. Basically, you are trying to people please, and you are trying to make sure that people are happy with you, or happy with your work, or happy with the way you look, or the way you talk, or something like that. And if you pursue people's satisfaction of you, or you pursue affirmation in the form of people saying, wow, you are good, you are this or you are that, then I think it creates a lot of stress and a lot of unnecessary stress, because these are things that you cannot control. What people think of you are not things that you can directly control. Things that you can directly control are things that you can do, but what people think of you has a lot of layers after that. It's like, it's based on their own biases, based on their own impression, based on whether somehow, I don't know, that day their mood, is it good or bad? Basically, there's a lot of external factors affecting what people think of you. So if you're trying to control all these external factors, it's inevitable that you'll feel super timid and stressed, right? Because they're just uncontrollable unless you're God, right? So it's not possible. So instead, what I suggest is that you pursue excellence. And by pursuing excellence, I mean you pursue doing your job well, and doing your job with your best effort, and essentially being excellent in your work. Do your own standards. I feel that we all know whether we have put in our best and whether we have tried our hardest, given the circumstances. So for instance, whenever I submitted a not so good work, even before I click the send button, I would already have known that, oh, I didn't check this or I didn't check that. Also, before I click the send button, I would already know that these are the potential areas of lack in my work. And the reason why I chose to not do all these things was either maybe I was not feeling happy that day, I was just not in the mood, I had too much work and everything was urgent, and basically I had no more capacity to do all those things. But that's fine as long as I know that that was my best given the circumstances. And that to me is pursuing excellence, because this was what I could do given the amount of time, given the amount of workload, and given whatever the situation was, right? And this is very closely linked to the point of managing your expectations, because if I myself know that I produced an 80% work, why should I expect my senior to give me 100% praise? Why should I expect my senior to say, wow, good job, excellent work? No, my senior will definitely not be giving me such high level of praise if I produce an 80% of work. But as long as I pursued excellence in what I do, and I know that it was my best, then I'm fine with it. I don't have to wait for somebody's affirmation to feel like, wow, okay, I'm good, I'm okay, or like I'm okay with myself, or that basically I'm fine or that I'm good enough for this firm. And along the line of managing your expectations is also managing your expectations of what your seniors or what your bosses should be or how they should behave towards you. I think the starting point is that your boss is under a lot of stress, your seniors are under a lot of stress, they are always rushing work, time is tight, so they can't afford. I mean, unless they're superhuman, superman, superwoman, they may not always be in the best of moods and may not always be able to reply you in a cheery manner or give a lot of words of affirmation or praise you for your work. Of course, a good senior will be able to do all this and manage their stress and still be kind towards you. But what I'm saying is that they are also human. Although the ideal situation is that they're always friendly and they're always happy to speak to you, the reality of it is that they are stressed as well. So they may not reply you in the most joyous manner. And that's okay also because, yeah, given the circumstances, they're not able to do it. But I'm sure there are other situations, like for instance, when you're having lunch or dinner, they are more happy, they feel more carefree, and then you can interact more freely. So I think in that sense, it's also being forgiving and just managing the expectations and understanding where they're coming from. It's not saying that they should be abusive or they should be harsh towards you. It's more of just don't expect them to be really friendly towards you every single day if their workload is really high and they're always rushing for work. Yeah, I'm sure on a good day they're able to treat you nicer or they're able to like put on a smile. But on the tough days, then I think it would be good to manage your expectations as well as a junior or as a trainee. At least that's what I noticed from when I was training. Like there will be some days when my senior types a very curt email response to me, and I will always wonder, oh, so does this mean that my work was bad, or that I just frustrated or annoyed the senior? And sometimes it's really like nothing. Like my senior was just not in a good mood lah, or was just stressed or rushing for time lah. Yeah, so that's one thing to take note of, managing expectations. Third thing I can think of is also to put down your pride and be willing to be corrected. I feel that a lot of us are fearful because we are afraid to get our pride hurt. We are afraid to do something wrong and have people think of us as stupid or incompetent. Essentially, our pride doesn't allow us to take feedback with an open heart and take feedback humbly in a manner that doesn't destroy our self-worth. Okay, I think all these points are very linked, so it's very hard to separate them. So essentially, the first point was don't pursue affirmation, which is also linked to the idea that you should not find your self-worth in what people think of you. Rather, just be confident in what effort you have put in. Most importantly is be confident in your identity in Christ. Like, there's nothing that anyone can say that changes your identity and that can reduce your self-worth. So, linked to the point of pride also, if you're able to separate your personal self from work, you should always take feedback and criticism as a feedback and criticism on your work, but not on you. So, okay, long story short, don't take things personally. Like if the senior is trying to tell you, okay, you need to improve A, B, C, you don't take it that, oh, because my senior said this, it means number one, I'm a careless person, or number two, I'm making too many mistakes in my work, or number three, I'm just not competent as a lawyer. No, that's taking all the comments personally. You have to take the comments as comments to your work and not to yourself. Because if you take it to yourself, you'll feel like you are being attacked every time someone gives you comments or someone gives you feedback. And the thing is, regardless of what their intentions are, whether it is to hurt you or to attack you personally, or how they say it, regardless of what is coming from them, on your end, you can at least put in the effort to separate it from yourself so that you will not be so affected personally as a human by what they say or what feedback they give. Yeah, essentially just don't take comments personally. You must always treat it as like, okay, this is a feedback on my work. But again, as I qualified before, not saying that they should be abusive towards you and like always say nasty words and then you have to try and psycho yourself. No, but rather within healthy boundaries, you should try as best as possible to never take things personally and never take comments personally. So you just separate work from yourself. That's my third point. And finally, if you're a Christian, I would say your fear also comes from the lack of trust in God. I don't know what the non-Christians think. Maybe it's lack of trust in yourself, but at least for Christians, the lack of confidence and being fearful is also a lack of trust in God, because honestly, you should fear no one but God. You should not fear men. And what is there to fear about men? What can men do to you, right? For your boss, the worst that can happen is he fires you. For your senior, the worst that can happen is he complains to your boss about you. or they just don't like you lah. If you think about it logically, I know from a feelings perspective there are a lot of things to process, but from a logical perspective there is nothing very much to fear about, because the worst that can happen is literally you get fired from your job or you don't have a job. But considering that you have a law degree and you've made it this far, you can probably find a job elsewhere and find a different job even in a different industry. So there is nothing much to worry about. Just have faith that if you do your best, God will do the rest. I know it sounds super cliche, but it's true. Stress and fear also comes from trying to control things that we cannot control, right? Or basically trying to control things that are supposed to be in God's control. And if you are willing and able to surrender all these factors to God, whether your boss likes you, whether your senior likes you, whether you all happen to have good chemistry or not good chemistry, and all your insecurities about whether your self-worth is found in the praises of others or your identity in Christ, if you're able to surrender all these problems to God, then there's really nothing to fear. I'm sharing from personal experience, and this was exactly how I tried to change my mindset to not fear people based on their status or based on their authority over you, while still having respect for them. Yeah, and I hope that this helps to put you at ease and also helps you adjust your mindset so that you can be comfortable at work and be yourself at your workplace as well. That's all. Bye!